Vicki and I created Tom Green, created a great plan for you today to see. And we started out with a vision of what we'd like to perform in dormitories for the campus. And so our vision is, it's called Center Dorm for a very specific reason, which we'll explain a little bit later. But it is strategically located on the central campus, ideally positioned as an attractive and vibrant example of the ultimate dormitory experience, exemplifying all the attributes of MUM's staged implementation of campus-wide sustainability. That's our vision. A place students can call home, and where the standard for dorm lifestyle is generated and experienced by the student. Hope you all got that. We have some overall observations and campus organization that we've looked at. And I think I'm going to have to start with, because it is over here. The central dorm is named that way because it's located right in the central campus location in terms of proximity to the basic central campus here, this being West Campus and this being North Campus over here. And it's a testament to the understanding of the desires and needs of the student. So we're incorporating what we've interviewed students with, we've asked questions, what they're looking for, and also the relationships that we think the university is looking towards. It's a very inclusive dorm environment, so it's to be applied to any aspect on the campus, which is why we showed it where we're planning the first dorm here. But we could see the same dorms being placed here as well as up in here as we examined the campus. By addressing all things sustainable, incorporating an inclusive and personal experience for the student, and relating to proximity to all the relative resources, including the facilities central campus, from administrations to a Juro student center, to classrooms, to the rec center. We're just close to everything, even for graduate students who may be dealing with MSAE. And in proximity, we can still get to the domes quickly. We're not far from the center of town, which really everybody really does love. And so we have a short little path that will take us into town. You'll see that through our proximities. And I think that it's a good location to begin a first dorm that really should spell out where we want to go with other dorms on campus. And Peggy, if you want to answer that.
So, as Tom mentioned, one of the things that we've observed initially was that in the dormitories that we have right now, there's very little sense of home. And that's one of the things that was driving our design, and we wanted to introduce as much of that sense in a dormitory as possible. So we talked a little bit from the start about things we liked from our experiences. We talked about the design of hostels and the sense of the community and the fact that it's a transient environment and people pass through it, and a little bit of the design of the hostels that we have passed through. But mainly, we had this idea from the start of layering the spaces in the dormitory, and two principles from Maharishi are relevant here. Unity is found in diversity, and life is found in layers. So this is the diagram of the basic organization of our building. And on the outside you see the solid yellow line is where all of the private spaces, all of the individual dormitories will be located. The hallway represented by a green line, and these pockets that are shared community spaces, lounges that face in and out of the courtyard that I'll explain in a second. So the basic organizing principle of the design is derived from the MBS principle: unity is found in diversity and life is found in layers. Unity occurs in this diagram through layers of dynamic activity to rest, maintaining a state of harmony even at the highest levels of activity, which is in the center. At the same time, respecting the individual growth and development of consciousness. So besides instilling a sense of home and identity, which is one of our objectives, we wanted to create a sense of community, to have a micro-community of a dorm, like a village inside one building. We decided with one building, even though the idea of having more village organization was kind of seductive, but the fact is that the university has a goal for increasing density on campus, and this was the most efficient way to increase density within the parameters that we had. And also, we thought about the idea of how this is really an urban dormitory. It's in the center of the campus, and So we treat it like an urban building with high densities, still providing a very quiet space that kind of resembles a plaza, but it's indoor so that it could be used year-round. So like Tom mentioned, our dorms are inclusive, they're co-ed dorms, but we have found that there needs to be a separation, and we want to respect the gender differences, I guess. But the fact that we still need our privacy, but we want to be in proximity to the opposite gender for the idea of the community. And so on the on the north wing is our boys, and on the south is the girls. And the center shared spaces, some of them face in and others face out. This is another diagram showing kind of a translation of this diagram in plan, with the red here showing the most dynamic activity center, the plaza, the Brahms down in the center with a fountain integrated into it and seating all around. This will be the most flexible space that could be used for a variety of purposes. One of them, adjoining this plaza space, is the kitchen cafe area, where other students will be invited to come in from other dorms as well. And we're giving some priority to kind of these public spaces that, even though we're in proximity to our GIRO, like kitchens and lounges, I think we still think it's important to have these spaces there, because as the population grows, there will be a need for additional dining spaces, and this is a more private community dining space.
One of the things that we did was we also recognized we can have a men's private dining area and a women's private dining area, and then share the dining with movable tables and chairs out in the courtyard area, which is very easy to set up. We've allowed for storage to put things away, also in proximity to where we're working with it. And so we have one way in through a galley here and one way in through a galley here, so we can go back and forth. So the flow of traffic is good, but we still think we need to keep a male-female setup for if we want intimate dining for one side or the other. It could be a meeting even. So we've accounted for all of that. We also, in this plan, you'll see, we're taking care of the bathrooms, common area bathrooms, and all of that at this point.
And this is the first level, by the way. On the second level, some of these lounges that face in and other more private study lounges that will be separated, they also have access, visual access, and to the Brahmastan. So this is really the heart of our building, and also the heart of the university, the central campus, as we say.
As long as you're here, just so we don't come back. Sure. We took into account RA rooms and dorm advisor rooms, so that they get slightly larger rooms, maybe a little bit more customized, which, if in a flexible plan, those might also be used for other needs, universal for access for one reason or another. And it gave us, we're going to have a female-male meditation, and it'll be properly buffered, but with some natural light coming into them, which we think is important for meditation. It's nice to have
East
that.
light.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will explain a little bit the context that we're placing this in. And we put perhaps less context than other groups, and less emphasis than other groups into the context, because we're sitting ourselves into the plan already developed by Bob Shrosby that calls for reopening of the road that will go along this side, and the closing of the Keith Wallace Drive to be a pedestrian walkway. So here is the pedestrian mall, and this will be the bike and pedestrian access. And from Highway 1, you'll enter this road. I'm not sure the name of it, and that's where our parking will be located. Do you want to talk a little bit about the placement of the building, the slope in it?
Yes, sure. And slopes is important here, and we'll address it in a couple levels, because it does have a lot of water flowing. And right now, because there were buildings here before, it's disturbed soils, there's a lot of things that are man-made as well as natural. And what we want to do is take advantage of both of those as they exist, because it plays into all of this. The water flows a lot of different ways. Normally, it'd be flowing over this. And so, of course, we're going to be diverting a lot of it away. So it starts, as you can see, it starts going this way, and it starts going this way. And that's just a little bit of earth moving and management. And so that's part of that. And this will then flow out this way, and then it will also flow out this way, as shown on this diagram here. Again, we have other constraints. Where we come up here, we're climbing quite an incline up to this point. But right here, it is very low, because there used to be the building that was there. So it's very natural. We've accounted for 15 cars at this location, 16 cars, and we have our handicap parking up here. So we took care of handicap right up front because there's a parking lot here now. And we feel we addressed that, and we handle the bikes are hauled in here. So that's the way the water flows, and we're going to control some of it with some rain gardens. We have some stormwater catchment that's going to be planned. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And food gardens and things like that. They're all part of the plan, but right now it's just that.
So the food gardens will ideally be located on this strip here. Also, part of Bob Shrewsbury's plan, one version of it calls for an amphitheater in between this building and Argira. So some of the rooms will be facing the amphitheater, and from this site location, we've gotten the idea that wouldn't it be nice to have a roof there where we could possibly have a clothesline. You know, it's kind of a fancy idea, but we liked it and we thought it was important because if events are happening in this area right here on the campus commons, then having that space, I think it's really valuable. So, partial roof deck. And also, to the front here, we wanted to create some outdoor space. And we decided, since we have so much community space within the building, something more informal calls for the outside here. So part of the parking lot, and this is the art building that we're in right now, part of the parking lot will be depaved, and most of this area will be restored to, not so much here, but here and here to prairie restoration, because we're right nearing that natural corridor. And here we've designed some really informal outdoor spaces, basically planters. There are 6x6 where we can have some trees, and I'm not sure if we have images of it, and some like grass terracing. Okay.
I'm going to show a little bit about relationship to the overall campus and distances. We did a couple overlays, and one of them is relationship to other student housing, which we think is important to, because we all do interrelate. And so if Center Dorm is located here, you don't even need to relate on that. It's, we have another potential that sits up in the SL area. The girls' dorm is over here right now. We have a Vostu potential, or Vostu homes right now. We have other girls' dorms over here, boys' dorms over here. So we're really very much in relationship to the rest of the campus. Why do we think here? We think Central Campus is the main focus. But it also, why not put some housing onto the main campus? And we're kind of creating a whole bigger village that way. And then there's just more to grow from.
Those are existing residential communities,
That's
not
correct.
new buildable
That's
sites,
correct. Well, except for this, but yes. We see that as, we want to show that because we think it's an obvious next step as well. I think it could be where we are or there, and someday the building's going to go there very quickly.
The point is to densify
Yes.
the more academic centers.
Because we have the library, we have, the MIU Press building, whatever I can't remember its name.
Barrel.
Thank you. And so we have those that are going to be in redevelopment and in development currently, so that's very important as well. In terms of relative proximity to the campus and how we use it, we did break it down by the minute, walks accurately to know how far things work. Town, for example, is 15-minute walk from this location, which it isn't from here at all. When I'm in the men's dorm, it's much further away. So it's a very nice proximity going to town. Everybody's, literally, it's only 10 minutes. I can get to the tennis courts in 5 minutes. I can get to the trail system in 15 minutes if I don't want to walk right to it here and come around. So that trail system is very important because it's also close to waterworks, which is nice. So we really have a lot of recreation coming this way with the tennis courts and all that. And the domes are 7 and 5 minutes away. We see improvement needed for the pathways, and I think that's all part of a plan, but that wasn't part of our agenda. And so we've been able to put it in proximity to these things that look pretty good from my perspective. So campus did that. I'd like to come back just one point here. We didn't address the lower level at all. The lower level is important. Storage is very important for students. Myself, I have to put in storage for this season, just over the summer. We're going to provide enough storage for every student there in a small little storage locked up thing, as well as a little bit of extra storage. I think that's necessary for all of them. There's a very large meeting room below the Ramastan. So this is not big enough area to hold a meeting, a function. We have a larger one below it. And we have a weight room below it. And we have an extra room if we need it. So we have, why are you laughing, Nika? So we have a lot of plant space, even on the lower level for this plant. So that's important for Marcus. Oh, are we down here?
Yes, I just wanted to mention some things. From the first and the second floor, we have 64 rooms, and the total square footage of our building is Tom, what's the total square footage of our building? 600?
You're saying
It's
about footprint, or
500,
you're talking about-
500 per room.
Yeah, it's about 520 square feet per room, and downsize. It's, I don't know.
Semi-private baths, right?
They are semi-private baths, and to deal with that, we'll get into that, but we have gone to some rainwater catchment systems, greywater system intended, and dual flush toilets.
Right, so part of
Or a
the-
choice of heavy flush, light flush, to really offset the cost of operating that many facilities.
Yeah, also, it's important, we decided that it was important to have shared bathrooms between 2 rooms, and
Oh, yeah.
the dorm directors and RAs kind of
Get their own.
situated, get their own. It's part of creating a sense of home and privacy.
Yeah, but I hope to, we're going to run short time right now, but I just want to say, one of the design issues are, you come into a room right now, and there's no way to make it personal to yourself. And so we have, just these edgings and things and ways to make it a little bit different, and we want them to personalize the rooms. And I think that's going to be very much embraced by the students, everyone I've ever talked with. Yes, what this is a relationship of the space and how you, you're going from place to place, and the way we access. So if you were to start from here and go either direction, we have.
This is our dorm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Just
thank you
point-
so much. This is our dorm, and we
A
have.
little flag hanging off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. No, did you ever see that flag? It's on Marshy's home.
Yeah, very
Thank you. And so one of the things that's really we like about this is there's very little built landscaping that we have to take care of developing as part of ours. We have a couple things. We have to deal with parking lot, we have to deal with this, but very little, because there's so much natural green already being established and being worked on, which is really beautiful for us. So we have the space where if you start from the inside, we have our very private spaces on the ends of our building. We're coming into the very public space here. And if I'm leaving the building and I'm accessing going out, I'm going to either turn the corner, or I'm going to head to these spaces here. I'm going to walk through my little food garden out back and pick up some stuff on my way to a Juro or whatever, and I'm going to take the pathways, might stop at the amphitheater and chat with some people, but either way, I'm going to end up into our Juro before I head back to a classroom, or, that's just my activity that I do every day. Right now, I come from here and do the same thing effectively, but there's no food to grab, but, we will have food to grab. And one of the things we did, is we have an enclosed courtyard. We dealt with, do we want it open, do we want it closed? Because we know we can do it either way. But we felt that it was very important to keep it seasonally constant. We have enough that we can do outside in the great weather. And I just feel like, especially with the roof deck, just go to the roof deck. And if we go this way, I want to go to the rec center. I want to go to the tennis courts. I want to go anything going this direction. We start out right away. It's a little bit developed right here. We go right back to our activity over here. I can be right in this building in 1 minute. I can go right down to the rec center in 3 minutes, get my bike and move on.
Okay, you guys need to wrap it up.
And that's all we've written. Oh, I just want to share this slideshow. Give me 30 more seconds. We feel that campus socialization is very, very important, including on our roof deck. This is a picture of what I have for it. And the different kinds of, this could be between a Juro and us, this could be, right outside, or, this is the kind of activity that goes on today. I can't find a bench to sit in, so this is personal to me. I have a plan for this dorm, and it'll start with this dorm, which is simply, there's a capital contribution from every student of $200. Every 3 students, you bought yourself a nice bench that's going to be positioned with a dedication to those 3 students. With a dedication to those 3 students. So that's my plan. Don't like it?
I didn't.
Okay. Sustainable water resources. Water attachment systems, dual flush toilets, rainwater gardens, and proper landscaping that actually
at that
takes advantage of
toilet.
the waters so that we can control the waters. And we all know about that. We're all in the sustainable living department.
That's cool.
I don't know.
It's very Japanese, they do that all the time.
And then landscape ideas. We know we have a level down for the parking lot. Maybe we want to do a wall. Maybe we want it natural. I don't really know. But this is not a bad way to create transitions that capitalize on that. Some systems and some rooftop. If we're going to have a rooftop deck, I'm going to have some rooftop plantings. It just comes with the territory. I know, it's already my dorm. Transportation on campus. Now, no joking about this. This across Route 1. There's no reason not to have this. They're very affordable. I can get us a couple new ones or used, but I am in the market. But these, my idea here is this is right on campus. This can really, anytime it's bad weather, you're driving and picking up people, if they're going to the domes, if they're going more than that 5-minute walk, why not have it circulate at all times? This, take us into town, take us up to Carlville, take us to the airport, whatever. And then this, of course, across from one.
Okay. And the last thing that I want to mention is we want to, part of putting all this emphasis on the resident is that we decided, we've realized that in this school, the knower, the resident, and the student is at the center of learning. And therefore, we must be living in the Sapacho Day dormitory, and we must have all these spaces that seem a little bit, excessive for any other dorms, but because we are the center of learning, we need a home, and that's how we do it.
Thank you.
Cool.